Hello guys, hope everyone's doing okay. Yeah, so I've done a little bit of work off stream, as is always the case. Had a day off work today, which was nice. Doing a talk with Bournemouth University this morning, helping some of the students there. They had some really cool questions, which was nice. Then just kind of spent some time doing my own thing. So anyway, back to my own work tonight. As I said, I have done a little bit of work, literally just like 2 hours off stream, if that, maybe even an hour. Some of it's a bit overdone. So basically, what I've done off stream is I've got a basic bump map, literally just two noises stacked together for the plaster on the wall, which I'm going to want to adjust, and remaps the scratches on the mirror to kind of be in different places. So rather than being a bump now, it's in transmission and mount and the specular roughness to kind of get a little bit more of it emphasized. Still a little bit weird, so I'm going to have a play about with it, but yeah, we'll kind of see how that goes. It might even, in fact, actually I've only just realised that I need to move that into transmission roughness, not specular roughness. But yeah, anyway, we'll get to that stuff. In Mari, I've removed some of the larger scratches because they just looked weird, which I believe you'll see in the comp. So other than that, I've done a really messy comp. Like, do be disappointed in me for this one. But basically, I've gone through and done like a kind of mock camera move. Literally just Z-slice to separate him from the background. Obviously, as I am aware, we need to fix some intersections. But yeah, we've got a little bit of depth field and stuff, and we've done a fake camera move. So there's like some really bad edge issues. But when I say fake, I mean like really fake. It's not a nuke camera. It's two transform nodes with this guy being cut out from the background image. But I quite like the idea of having like a virtual camera move. But obviously the render times are horrific, so I'm going to try to do it in nuke. Overall plan though is obviously push the beauty render as far as I can. Maybe do one render with depth field in camera, just so I get like correct results. And then I'm going to render foreground Pierrot as a separate layer so that I can extract. So I don't have to extract him from the background, I don't have to paint in anything for the foreground. But yeah, so that's where it currently stands. The reason I've moved it over to nuke is because I noticed something, and I think this is a incorrect behavior in Arnold. I don't know enough about cameras, to be honest, but I noticed that the Pierrot in the mirror was in focus, but the entire picture frame and all the photos are completely out of focus. And I think the depth of field was like adding the distance from the mirror to the Pierrot into the depth of field, like focus distance. So I had to put basically the mirror is 150 units away from the camera, but I had to put 192 for the Pierrot to be in focus in that mirror, which I'm pretty sure is incorrect. I'm fairly sure that if it's a reflection, the focus distance is the distance to the mirror. Hence why people can take photos of raindrops and get the entire background in focus in them. But yeah, I looked up online, and there seems to be an issue with basically every renderer. So I'm not sure if like it just struggles to kind of resolve it. But what that made me realize is, okay, it might actually be better for me to do my depth field in comp, which naturally gives me now issues with edges and stuff because I'm not a comp artist. I need to figure out how to fix all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I can quickly walk you through the comp. It is a little bit messy, as I said. Let's see, we start off with the plain image. This is pre any changes to the mirror and to the wall. But I'm just copying in a depth channel so that I can get all the values, which is 150 here, 155, and then like 80 for that guy. And then just doing a Z-slice. So this one naturally is cutting out the foreground guy. Then I'm just eroding that a bit to get rid of some of the hairs. I should probably erode it a little bit further, but it doesn't matter too much. Edge extending that just so that when I do the fake camera move, you don't just have a harsh line. This is pretty ugly, but it's better than the harsh line. Frame holding it so I can do a roto paint, just to fix some of the worst areas that are most visible. ZD focus, transform. So this transform is a chromatic aberration effect, and then a animated transform that goes through and kind of animates as time goes on. So it starts at frame 15, ends at frame 88. And then on the other side, I've got a Z-slice which cuts the foreground guy out. ZD focus, which has all the same settings as that one, transform, and a animated transform. Merge them together, add some grain, add some vignette, and it gives you a fake camera move. So, starting on frame 15. But yeah, so because they're separated, like this guy and that guy, I was able to, basically the transform is just the scale. So if I scale this one more, it gives the illusion of the camera zooming in past them, which isn't really how zoom works, but you know, it gets an idea across. I can figure out how to do it in a nicer way later. But yeah, so there's the kind of plan. I'll do something nicer like timing and stuff, but I feel like this gets some pretty images out. I kind of like both the start and end images, so we'll have a play about with it. Maybe do some like mood stuff, make this one way darker or something. But yeah, so anyway, so we're going to do a little bit of work. Becca had a really nice idea for the mirror, which I'm going to do first. And then once I've done that, we'll probably do a little bit of modeling, get some stuff into the scene. I kind of want to start getting spider webs on the edge of the mirror, which will be fun. We also need to add the transforms to the model releases. So yeah, let's get started. I'm going to start off by creating, need to duplicate this, edit, duplicate. I love that. Okay, is it possible for me to like move that way over here? Edit, duplicate. Okay, there we go. So let's grab this guy, put him here. So Becca's idea for the grime was to have a map that removes grime as if it's been like wiped with a cloth. So mask, glass, grime, mult, I'll call it. Because ultimately it'll just multiply everything below it. Naming convention isn't great, but it will do. So let's create a paint node. We want this to be raw data, that's fine. Default to white, because we're going to use this as a multiplier. I'm just going to plug that into here. Well, technically we could just invert that. But anyway, so we want to use this to, as I said, like mask areas out. So I'm going to see what brushes work well for this. Potentially furry stroke, but we will see. Something like that, just to kind of give the impression of it being wiped. But I need a different texture, I think. What else could be there? Storm clouds, potentially. A little bit sharp, but it has potential. Need to look at some wiped mirrors. I just see what I can find. So that streaky effect is because it's water, but that's not really what we should have. Yeah, I guess the main thing is that it's streaks of different values, right? Yeah, we'll go for this kind of look when it's like streaks of different values. So let's give that a go. Still need to find a nice filthy airbrush. Was quite strong, right? Yeah, it is very strong. fuzzy worm. Those lines are too straight, aren't they? What's going to work for this? Kind of works. Let's try a larger brush. Getting that thing again. I'd really love to know what's causing this. Need to message the guys at Foundry. I'm probably doing something wrong. Okay, let's go into our brush settings. Start playing about with flow and radius. But actually, let's not do radius. They're very subtle. Stuff like that. Yeah, that works. Alright, let's get that exported and converted to TX. And then we can play about with remapping everything. So, let's get you exported. Export flattened, export current channel flattened. It's set to be a raw channel, so that shouldn't be an issue. Cool. Then let's get into Maya. File. Cool. Texturing, prop mirror. Grab these guys. UV tiling mode. UDIM. Utility raw. Cool. And then let's get into Arnold Utilities TX Manager. There he is. Loving the cars beeping outside. There we go. Right, so that should work now. Let's get into Katana. And now I'm going to want to prune him out to just make life simple for a bit. Let's go to our mirror, which I think is over here. There we go. Glass. So I need to clean up my setup a little bit as well. In fact, yeah, let's do that first. Let's clean up this stuff. So this is image. Then it's MSK, glass, grime, C. Copy that. This one is A, I'm guessing. Image, glass, grime, A. This one I'm guessing is B. Yep. And then this last one will be D, of course. Yep. Just update that. Cool. And then let's name these guys. So that is spec rough. I feel like we should definitely plug that into transmission roughness. So let's just go into here. What's our default roughness in transmission? Oh wait, it gets applied there as well, doesn't it? Okay. Yeah, forget that transmission picks it up as well. Cool, alright, we'll leave that. So we'll just name this range. Spec rough mirror. And then this is range transmission. Cool. That'll do for now. Let's just get this moved out. What are you? You're the dirt material, so let's name these. Surface, glass, matte. Surface, grime, matte. Cool. That's our overall grime mask. So we're going to want to create a new image, which I'm going to use this one for. And then this one's going to be grime mask. Then we're going to replace grime mask and grime mask. Cool. And then at the very end we'll add that as a multiplier. So let's go to layer 8, input, and then this one's going to be called glass cleaned multiply. So then to make sure it's working, let's create a flat, connect that up to Arnold's surface, and just give that a quick render. I can probably close Nuke now, right? Let's get that saved. Save a little bit of memory. Not much, but enough. Okay, that's not working. Let's find out why. I'm just in File Explorer on my other screen. So it's in texturing, prop mirror. Okay, they're all here. I'm guessing this is the reason you can't find this. It's TIFF, right? Yeah, it is. Doesn't work. Okay, let's just pick the file manually. can that open? Why can't I open it? What could cause that? Not being able to open a file. I could try replacing the end with TX, right? But okay. Can I open file? Why can't I open it? Let's try flushing caches. Do that again. Still not working. Huh. Why could that be? Okay, that works. Well, why wasn't it working a minute ago? Okay, I'll either way. Let's kill that render and turn you into an expression so that I can do my favorite little trick. It's not even a trick, but I like saying that. Project.user.project_root. Cool. And we can replace that with TIFF. There we go. Okay, back to normal. So okay. So let's try biasing all the other textures to get a bit more out of them. And we also need to... oh, Jesus. Okay, yeah, we're gonna need to go through and name everything soon. That's getting a bit silly. That's the frame material. I know there's probably a shortcut for doing that, but okay, so I can delete you now. Let's create a bias in front of all these. Oh yeah, it's a range. Okay. That one already has one. Which is doing what exactly? Increasing the bias. Cool, that's already got one. Which one was D again? Oh, D was the primary one. Okay, so let's just bias these slightly. So I'm going to put 0.6 in these guys, just to get a little bit more interest out of them. But then the other one, I'm going to put 0.75. So that will just increase kind of the gamma almost. It's not the same as gamma, but close enough. See how that kind of grows everything out without just raising them in a max value? Okay, I feel like that first one, this guy needs to be biased way up. So let's go 7.5 on this guy. We may just need to change the map for that one as well. It's probably a bit strong, but we can use it for now. What is that? It's not spec. Oh, it's secondary. Probably my glass being a bit too strong. Okay, I feel like this is a bit overdone now. Let's go 0.65. Maybe just raise the minimum value a little bit. So output min like 0.1. That will lower the contrast, but make it more visible in places. Okay, so the backs of these photos is the next thing I need to fix. Well, the next like major thing I need to fix. In terms of like it causing issues now. So let's go to, in fact actually, not yet, let's name stuff. Layer RGBA, so we'll just go RGB, LRGB, mirror, dirt, mask. Cool. These guys are already named. I'm not going to worry about the range nodes. Okay, I'm pretty sure that that middle layer is turned off. Yeah, it is. Okay, so I'm going to add it back in, but make it very subtle, like 0.1 even. Does anyone know the shortcuts for these things? Let's create a dot node. Cool. Backdrop. Grime mask. Oh, why did I do that? Free. Just make it a little bit neater because that's kind of gross. Might even separate this guy a little bit, just so he's visibly doing something different. Then we got our materials, which I'm not going to worry about. I really don't like these linear connections. They feel really out of place most of the time. There's probably a preference for that. Edit preferences. God, what would it be? Nodes? Node graph? I have to Google it later. Auto connect and create. Yeah, let's give that a go. See how that feels. Leave the rest of it alone. Cool. And then down here, we'll just name this guy. So this guy is frame material. Surface frame matte. Range base, so diffuse amount. Range, diffuse amount. Frame. That one is going into layer RGB for spec ref. Hey Ian, how you doing, man? Okay, so we can probably get. Oh yeah, let's sort out the photo backs. Okay, so this is surface, photo, matte, and then this one back here is going to be surface, photo, backing. Cool. So he's too bright. It's the first thing we know. In fact, he's a default material. So let's quickly find out some information about this guy. Cool. Get him into the hypershade, which I've put somewhere. Cool. So we're just going to copy the settings from this. So I'm going to move that onto my other screen for a moment. I will be unable to see any chat messages for a moment there. But I just want to get this blocked out. So let's do spec. Roughness is 0.7, pretty much. IOR is 1.5. I need to change my IOR more often. Subsurface is set to 0.75. Subsurface radius is 0.2 and 1 and 27. 0.2. I'm pretty sure that's wrong. Got that in the wrong order. 27 hue. Okay, so it's 27.6 hue and 0.2 saturation. Okay, so it's 0.27 in this case. Oh, I need to divide it. Okay, it's gonna be a fun one. Somewhere like the. If I know this needs to be 0.9 then, right? And this is 0.2, and that needs to be 1, which of course it alters everything. How did that happen? Alright, there we go. Subsurface color is plugged into that guy. Scale is 0.01. Random walk v2. Then we need to check the map that goes into that. So we've got a little bump. I'm not going to worry about that. We're too far away. Layer RGBA. Right. We're going to proxy the hell out of this. In fact, I'm just going to use a flat color. So base color, we want. I don't understand why this. Has to do that. Okay. Let's plug that in to subsurface color. That will do as a proxy. So now I can minimize my again. We've got to softened it out a bit. Still a bit of chaos going on behind this. Probably an intersection, honestly. But yeah, so next thing is to. Oh god, what is the next thing to do? Actually, I need to bias that multiply map a little bit, don't I? Let's get that done. Yeah, we need to bias this guy. So, Katana. He's having too much of an effect. So if we bias it towards white, range. Didn't need that, thanks. Is that necessary? Input 8. Okay, it'd be nice if it didn't automatically open. What is going on here? There we go. Right. Drag you over this way. Get you there. Okay, we're going to bias that slightly. I say slightly. Let's try 0.75 for now. Or 0.7, I guess. Let's do another test render. That does mean that we get more areas towards white, which means we'll get a little bit less of a mask. So you kind of soften it a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we got that. Okay, so there's a few smaller things to do, but we're starting to get there. The scene is pretty much built at this stage. I need to see how this renders. The images seem to have gotten a bit blurrier at this stage. But I can't tell if that's the sampling or not. So it might have just been mapped down, which would make sense. Yeah, okay, that's the same. Good. It's just the mapping that's making it smaller. Okay. So we can get our guy back in there, and I'm going to update my models to the correct positions so I don't have to transform them. So let's just close all this stuff. Util, flush caches. So I'm going to do a few things, but let's sort out these transforms first. So this first transform is moving the mirror, and it's moving it by minus 0.44 in the Z. Okay, so let's do that. So we're going to grab our mirror, which means we'll have to do the same thing for the photos, right? For that to work. Minus 0.44. Okay, which I'm guessing means I've pulled the wall forward for that to happen. What else is in there? Or is it this? Yep, same thing to the photo group. Okay, there's the transform, okay. That's the entire back wall. Okay, so just need to do the same thing to the photo group. So let's just do that. Minus 0.44. Cool. Then we're going to modify free transformations and modify free transformations. Okay. That's not gone onto the geometries, has it? No, it hasn't. Good. Cool. So we can get these two exported. Cache, Alembic, export selection to Alembic. Let's get you exported over the mirror. Yes. And you, cache, Alembic, export selection to Alembic. Let's get you exported over the photos. Cool. So that's those two sorted. We need to start getting more in. So we got the monster mask, which we will need to do a fair bit of rebuilding on. We also need to move it forward. Kind of also want to move this wall back until it's meeting the bricks, and we can move it forward as much as we need to in the shader, or in the katana scene. We can also add the brick displacement to that wall to kind of displace it with it. Let's not move it that far though, let's go like 2. Okay. Modify freeze transformations, get that wall. Oh, that's not centered out, okay. Let's grab this wall and isolate them. Modify freeze transforms. Cool. Cache, Alembic, export selection to Alembic. Get that wall re-exported. Cool. While we're at it, let's get the mask re-exported, even if it is going to be in the wrong place. Or with no shader. We can figure all that out later. So let's go modify freeze transformations. This needs to be in a group. Monster mask group. Okay, so that we're going to export Alembic, export selection to Alembic. We need to create a new folder, prop monster mask, and this will be prop monster mask. Publish, I think it's all caps. Cool. So get that saved. Cool. So all this should be updated now. We can delete these two. And we're going to have to extend this out a bit, because now we need a new material, a new merge. So do that. We'll definitely need to compress this group at some point, but let's get this all updated. So we need to update this, browse, monster mask. Okay, I need to update that. Add Alembic. There we go, it's named it correctly now. Cool. So let's just go down the chain, update things. So that needs to be prop monster mask. Prop. Cool. Update the cell. So this cell needs to now go to here. Cool. Prop monster mask. Okay. Merge, that's fine. MA. Let's do that properly. Okay, we're going to want to search for anything containing monster mask. Which actually we can remove that. No need to search, it's already there. Cool, so that's basically ready for us to update our model later with extra meshes. Monster mask. And finally, this one is photo backing, we can remove that. And then cool. So this material is going to need to be literally just a standard surface, just while we get everything in place. I'm going to massively reduce spec, but let's just turn off the spec and do a test render. We do have the override enabled, so we can't see the materials on the Pierrot. Just makes life a little bit quicker. It's a render time override, so I can just disable this. The nice thing with these interactive overrides as well is they don't affect any disk renders, so when I'm finally ready to render this thing, if I accidentally leave this off, it doesn't make a difference. Okay, so this noise is a little bit much, isn't it? So let's get into that mirror. That grind mask, we need to turn off the first noise. So I'm going to basically turn off the bias or set it to almost 0, just to really pull that noise back. So, in relation to this hole, I don't really like where this is. I thought we got a slightly different noise as well, because now it's in world space rather than being transformed. It's kind of cool. Either way, we've got the mask in there now. I'm going to probably shade that at a later date. For now, I'll just get this shader at a little bit diffuse roughness to flatten it out. Set this to like 0.5. And I kind of want to start getting the webs in there, at least a little bit. The way I do the webs is going to be a little bit chaotic. In that I have no idea how I'm going to do the webs. I'm going to try to do it as procedurally as I can just to see what happens. I'm going to go with the card approach. I know that much. I'm not going to go with anything too crazy in regards to like actually doing curves and stuff like that. It's just not worth the time. I could do it in Yeti, I guess, but really just isn't worth it. And so we'll do something a little bit more procedural in shader. Maybe get some, well, maybe I can make a tileable map for a web effect. Do it in ZBrush or something. Weirdly, I tend to use ZBrush for tileable maps. I've got a workflow that I quite like. Okay, so we're starting to populate the image a little bit, which is nice. We're getting a bit of a glow in here, which is really weird. I mean, I kind of like it thematically, but... Okay. What am I thinking? Yeah, I guess the web is the way to go right now. Just to get something in there. Kind of help blur these edges a bit. I also kind of need to figure out a way to add... I mean, I can just do variation of color with a plaster to kind of get a little bit more interest in this section. This section is just way too bland right now. Like, there's something going on everywhere else. Granted, it needs to be subtle, because otherwise the entire image is going to be too chaotic. There's also the issue of this guy being a face and being here and being the same size as his face. He might pull a bit too much attention. So we may have to do either in the shader, just like way dye him down, like make him fade into the background, or do that in comp even. But yeah, it's a little bit... I don't know, it's going to be a little bit weird. I might have to find a new place to put him, because I'm going to put some props down here to imply that it's like a little, you know, kind of makeup stand. Kind of want to do like a hyper-realistic makeup brush for some reason. Just the opportunity to do a prop groom rather than always grooming characters. Because prop grooms are so much fun. They're so easy, like there's nothing, you can't really get them wrong. Which is always nice when you're used to getting things wrong every day. Okay, we also need to fix some of the intersections on the model. Obviously there's that one there, it's quite visible, but there's also some inside the head cap once you have the subsurface applied once you have the displacement applied. Cool. So, yeah, let's get a web started. Again, I don't really care. Why did I create a cube? A plane is the way to go. Okay, polyplane. So I'm going to go for more that kind of sheet web, where they're kind of crazy. So it's not like necessarily visible strands all the time, it's more just like chaotic stuff going on. What I have to figure out is if I want to do it in... I mean, I could do webs on... Ooh, okay. Now I'm going to start going down that rabbit hole of like putting webs everywhere, because it could look cool. Extrude that guy. Okay, let's just pull that out a little bit. Okay. Let's get this guy, pull him out. Something like this. You can't actually see the bottom of the mirror, so I guess we could just end this over here. And then, for the sake of keeping everything fair, well, I guess we need to continue this up here a little bit, just to get it out of frame. Do something like that. Okay, there we go. So let's create another plane. I'm just going to duplicate this one, move it over. In fact, why don't I just do that? I'm going to attach some webs to this guy. Just like that for now. Just to give us an idea what works, what doesn't. Okay, so I'm going to create a group called webs group. Then I'm just going to grab both of these. I need to add an edge loop to this guy. Kind of do that a little bit. Okay. This guy a little bit more chaotic, but just push him in a little bit. Cool. So name these two web underscore, and then edit search modify search replace names geo. Okay. Cool. So let's grab that, get it exported, Alembic, export selection to Alembic, new folder, prop webs, then prop webs, publish. Cool. Get that imported in. I have to go through all that again. Fun times. Add Alembic. Just go out here into prop webs. It's lowercase. Should it be lowercase? Were all the other ones lowercase? The other ones weren't. Okay. I'll fix that later. Famous last words. So. But no, I'll fix it now. Because it's really easy to fix. Okay, so let's go into utils, flush caches. Becca, do you want the whack on for a bit? No, I'm not using it right now. Do you want it for a bit? Not right now. Yep, cool. So just giving Becca more whack on. There you go. Yep. There you go. Right, so utils, flush caches. Let's just quickly update that. Cache, Alembic, export selection to Alembic. Cool. So now when I open that up, yeah, there we go. Okay, so web. Web. Fix that. Almost there. Cool. So let's just jump into there. That's already got material, so we can just see if it's shading correctly or if it's loading incorrectly. Then we can very briefly update the shader. I mean, it's going to be out of focus most of the time, so I feel like we can get away primarily with a sampler info kind of opacity to it and a kind of noisy texture on top. Are they getting completely eaten alive? Oh, there it is. It's there. Is that low res? Yeah, that's still low res. Okay, so that means it's not being picked up by this guy. Oh yeah, because I didn't create that. Okay. Something like that will do. I feel like we could even get the stripy, crazy patterns with Voronoi, like stack a few of them. I definitely know that I need to vary where it terminates. Okay, let's get him pruned out. I should probably put that as a interactive override so I can just quickly throw it on. Right, so that's fine. Let's get this area masked out. Cool. We want to make sure that this material can update and that all of these guys can update. And then let's just go down to this and first off save, and also save a alt version. File sizes are tiny with this, so we can get away with it, like just saving all time. Let's live render that. And then we're going to want a facing ratio plugged into a ramp RGB. And then that's already set to custom. So we can plug this into, we should probably plug it into glow just so we can see it a bit quicker. Or just plug it into a flat actually. Don't know what that just did, but okay, I might have to do preview render. Wonder why it wasn't starting the render. Live render. Live render's just not starting. Interesting. Okay, so let's do something like that. See if it renders. Okay, so we're getting a bit of something. It's actually the opposite of what we want, right? We want it more like Jesus, why does that keep happening? Okay, do a test render with that. Yep, then we can just kind of pull this over or bias it in our shader. Probably better to bias it in the shader. So let's just create a bias. I always try to create a bias node. Range. This will just get us a nicer fall off. Let's do a range. A bias, sorry, of 0.25. So it's exponential. Also, if you ever looked at a ramp in Maya and wondered what exponential up and exponential down are, and what their equivalent is in other tools, it's literally just bias. Exponential down is 0.25, exponential up is 0.75 in bias. Same thing. Might have got the order switched up there, but in my head that's what it is. Right, so let's plug that as like the base amount into what's the word I'm looking for right now? Into geometry opacity, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, we're going to want to turn off cast shadows for this mesh. So let's do shading, or ray flags even. Visibility. So we don't want cast shadows. Is it possible that we've seen opaque turned off? Oh, okay, yeah, there we go. Okay. I'm going to need to go to shadow. Interesting how we're catching so much darkness from it. I guess we just need subsurface also all the way up, right? Because this would have like basically no diffuse, so let's do something like that. Random walk, and this scale, god, I mean it's a plane. Any scale is too thick. Oh, hello. It's not rendering right at all. Okay. May have to leave that one. So it's not showing up in direct, or the shadow's not showing up in direct. It is showing up in indirect. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, we need to turn it off for bounces. That makes sense. Diffuse transmit. I guess we should only really have it visible to the camera, right? Maybe reflections are okay. Nope. Let's just have it only visible to camera. If this is still black, I'll be very confused. There we go. So definitely catching a little bit too much. But now so we start layering stuff on top to kind of get a bit more chaos. So first we're going to want to layer. So this is going to be our base opacity. So we're going to create a oh god. I'm trying to figure out what noises will work. A cell noise would work really well. Anyway, layer RGBA. Plug you into the input, and then we're going to call this one base opacity. Base opacity, then we want to create a cell noise. Plug that into input 2. And I think we need to invert that, right? Invert. Is it reverse? No, okay, range. Range nodes end up everywhere in my shaders. Same at work as well, I put so many range nodes and stuff. Or remap, it's called remap in RenderMan. So let's just set that to 0, use a 1. Okay, and we're just going to set that as a multiply for now. But we will change that 0 value to be like 0.5 or something. Oh, the cell noise is also going to be set to noise, right? It is cell 1. create a flat node. Which one was it that was correct then? Maybe it wasn't cell. Wally, maybe? I don't know why it's stretching out like that. Change that to a Wooly. Why is that happening? It's not doing a top-down position, is it? Might need to create some UVs for this, for it to work. Alright, it's already connected. Let's do 0.5 and 0.6. While that goes, just quickly throw on some UVs. So, okay, object mode, mapping, planar map. Preserve 3D ratios. Okay, there we go. So strange. Either way, it's quick to fix. So let's just kill that and go to flush caches, which actually didn't close it, so I need to do that. Util flush caches. Cache, Alembic cache, export selection to Alembic. Cool. So I'm guessing this won't make a difference, right? It did? No, it didn't. Good. I still don't think it did. Cool. Right. So what's causing that? I could do a UV transform. Okay, it's doing the same thing. Might need to create a map for this. I'm actually not sure how to create a 2D noise in Arnold. Noise. Is there a chord space? Where's that? UV. Oh, that might be in here then. Yes, there we go. Okay, so now relearn what all these do. Okay, so bigger number makes bigger. Bigger number means more tiling. Okay. So now we're going to create a few octaves. And additive. Let's move both of these up a little bit. So let's go to 0.6 on you and 0.7 on you. Okay, a little bit too low. 5.5. And then this will be 0.6. Let's try alligator. Oh, alligator gives a nice effect. Okay, so we need to invert it and extract these black sections out. Okay, so invert is the first thing we do. And leave these alone for now. Let's just see how that does on its own. Okay. We want to remove those. I guess actually we do want them back in. Let's go 3, just to make it a bit more chaotic. And input min is going to be, let's go with 0.25. Let's just slowly pull it together until we find the center of the texture. It gets very confusing when you're doing this sort of stuff. Okay. Let's go 0.1 and 0.5. Okay, so I think that needs to go to like 0.15, and this needs to go down to 0.3. Getting there. Okay, then if we invert that, we should get a web kind of thing. Why does it get so much more visible when we do that? Oh, because I'm being an idiot. Okay, yeah, we need to reduce that even closer. Let's go 175. Cool, then we can make this way smaller. So let's go with 300 by 300, 300. And so the output min, or output max, I guess, is going to be like point. Let's go 0.35 as a starting point, and then connect this back up. Get something. We need to increase that min and then multiply the whole thing by a larger noise to get like areas of density and that sort of stuff. So let's go into that range. We want to increase this like, let's say 0.6, and then we're going to add another noise, which we're just going to borrow the settings from this guy, but make it way smaller. Come on. Let's go with 30 by 30 by 30 with a noise to 5 and plug this in here. In fact, I'll plug it in at the end and put web mult. Okay, and we'll leave that at full for now. So it kind of works overall. You get some more variation, but it's still not right. Also not convinced this noise is doing what I need it to yet. So let's increase that even more. Let's go 7.5. This is becoming, no, 7.5. And then the range on this guy, let's do a clamp, basically. So this is going to be like, let's go 0.2 and 0.8 for now. And create a clamp. But actually, we might need to clamp the other ones too. In fact, yeah, that might be what's wrong there. There we go. Does it look good? No. Does it add something? Yes. I feel like this noise needs to be even smaller, and the lines need to be thinner. To make the lines thinner, this needs to go down a little bit, right? Yeah, let's go down to 0.1 and lower that to 2.5. And it needs to be a tiny bit smaller too. Let's go 500 by 500 by 500. Pretty sure when I'm in UV mode I don't need that third coordinate, but just for the sake of keeping things nice and clean, I'm going to anyway. So let's go into albedo. It's looking a bit better. We seem to vary the shape of the thing. So I kind of get more crazy areas. Okay, so let's get back into our scene. Oh, we need webs on the other side too. I feel like now that we've done that though, we can start adding like longer webs individually, and the shader will kind of take care of the rest. Although it would be good to get an actual texture in there to create something that actually looks like a web rather than a remap noise. Okay. I don't know why this is creating that glow. It's very strange. Alright, so yeah, that web's barely visible, but that's a good thing. Yeah, so we're going to need to start getting stuff at the bottom of this. And then I really do need to figure out what's going on up here, or what should go on up here. This feels very dull to me. What could go on up there? Any of the two people in the chat have any ideas? That's right, if one of them is Rahul. Trying to think what would work. I guess for now what I might do is just very quickly sort out the intersections on the head. So we'll see where those are and then get them fixed. I guess the easiest way would be to load the zebra sculpt in, because they don't intersect until I have displacement. The moment I add displacement, it all starts to break. It's intersect city. I also need to redo the shader for this cloth cover at some point. Currently it's way too simple. Okay, so while that goes, I know at least some of the stuff I need to do, so let's get all that done. So there's the first intersection. Because when I smooth this, it all kind of, yes. So let's just grab these guys, pump them out. So that's that one fixed. Are there any others? That might be it for this guy, okay. Got that. So obviously that's intersecting. So I'm trying to think, what areas do we know are intersecting with the head? Oh, that's probably an area there. Okay. Let's inflate the back. And let's do it symmetrically as well. So let's grab this bit. Because I probably sculpted it symmetrically. So, nope. Okay. Probably kind of want to reinforce that a little bit as well. Get something a bit more interesting out of it, shape-wise. Oh, there you go. Okay, so let's just start off by selecting that guy and setting that as our there we go, topology. Okay, so I want to pull this bit out. Yeah, there's the main area, and up here, there's an area over here as well that's intersecting. So let that keep rendering. So we know that this bit's pretty bad. Inflate that out. Inflate that out. But actually, we'll just pull that out. There we go. Inflate this bit out. Inflate that bit out. Then up here is also getting pretty bad. So pull that bit out a little bit. And then we just need to fix all that same stuff for the hat. I also kind of want to tighten up here a little bit. There we go. A little bit of a tighter crease. Okay, so the next thing to get is the headcloth, which naturally now is very intersecty. This bit play out like that. Okay, we got that. Yeah, it's going through there. Got a little bit there. That should be everything though. So let's close all this. Util, flush caches. Select this guy. I'm going to alt save now because we've made enough changes. Okay, select this group. Cache, Alembic, export selection to Alembic. Chop arrow. Cool. So let's get into Katana. Do a new render. That should improve everything a little bit. Our thumbnail's looking promising. It's also looking bigger. But fixed, at least. So the correct way to do that would have been to load in the sculpt of the head and kind of scale everything to match it. Because then we know what the actual true render time model is doing. Because that's the problem, is that my displacement's doing a little bit too much in terms of the shape of the head, which suggests that my displacement, my topology is a bit too sparse. Or at least on the back of the head anyway. The face is fine. But it looks like it's worked. Yeah, that's worked. Cool. Alright, so I guess we should work briefly on the collar. So let's isolate. And we want to isolate you. Let's go to Pierrot. Pierrot cloth. Head cloth. No, not head cloth. Ruffle. Cool. So let's open up that guy. Expand all. Let's get into our test camera and do a super quick close-up render of this guy. We may need to turn off subsurface scattering for this to work. It's going to be very slow to render. What I might do even is create a prune and just look dev the cover in isolation for a bit. And we can turn the light around in a second. Yeah, because this is far too ghostly. So let's let's get that light turned around. Let's go 45. This is a 90-degree turn. Might even need to go further. Maybe like 90 or something. As in like plus 90. Yeah, we need to go further. Let's go another. Let's go 135. Tiny bit further. Let's go 160. Cool, there we go. Let's go into albedo. Okay, so I'm going to save our scene. And we should Maybe this will render. Let's go to our Pierrot materials. Let's go to our cloth mats and grab our ruffle cover. And then we want to update U whenever the material changes. Okay. So where's our opacity happening? It's happening over here. See, the problem is when it's really clean, it looks okay. I just need the min to be 0 so that I can actually have true opacity. Okay. So I do want the gradient, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get it in a way that's like accurate without doing what I did in Maya, which I can't do without the cloth node. Okay, so if I disable that, yeah, it's too dense. Okay, so we're gonna need a new map for this guy. Let's get the library open. Create a new file explorer. Cool. Then go to our asset library. So projects. Let's figure out what we want. So we need something that's very transparent. So we need stuff that is mostly see-through. I need to arrange these. Okay. Oh. I wonder how long it will take us to find one. I know that we have one called polyester, which would fit the job, but it's a little bit much. Gene, it's definitely not going to be right. Okay, Lycra's an okay option. Polyester is the one I was thinking of. Silk. Tights. Tights could work. This one could very much work. And I could extract a better map from this one. Okay, so we might use tights. Velvet is obviously not going to be right, but it's worth looking. Yep, that's still not right. Weave, definitely not weave. And wool's definitely not going to be. Okay, so we need tights. Do we grab the 2K one? Okay, so let's grab these. There's no usable IDs. Okay, so we can extract a better map from this one. So let's go into Maya. And let's just go into the hypershade. Okay. And we just want to grab you, drag you in there. So this map is a raw utility map. Cool. And then let's go into our Arnold texture manager. Cool. Where's that just gone? There it is, right at the bottom. Okay, so I have that now. Let's go back into Katana. Can I drag and drop a file into here? No, I can't. Okay, so let's just go into this. I need to remove these guys because I'm no longer doing anything with that. Effects, I need an image node. Wait, actually. Okay, what I'll do is just change that section there. So let's grab that. Cool. Update you. I don't know if this actually makes a difference, but I like to change it. And then let's grab the name of that file. Cool. So for this guy, we want alpha extract to just be a range node in this case. Always range nodes. Okay. And we want the min value to be like it looked like 0.25 to me. And leave the rest of it like default. How does that render? If it renders. Okay, so let's have a look at the map again. We could clamp that 0.5 and 0.25, right? What? Oh, I need to update the camera. Okay. Kinda works. How does it appear when I turn off? If I turn that and go up here, turn off that prune and render, how visible is this? Or do I need to thin it out even more? Because I can. That's the nice thing about this texture. Oh, it's already, okay, it's very, very transparent. Well, that could be mip-mapping, to be fair. We need to let it do its thing. In fact, yeah, the mip-map bias needs to be changed heavily. Let's go do that first. So let's go to mip-map, sampling. Is there a threshold node in this? Like, RenderMan has what's called a threshold map, which basically you enter a value, anything above that value returns 1, anything below it returns 0. And that'd be a really quick way of extracting an alpha from this. It's a very fun node as well, I like it a lot. Okay, I don't think we have much choice but just to render a region for this. It's going to be way too slow otherwise. I have no choice but to render this until clean. Looks like it might be too see-through though, as a whole. It is gaining a little bit of transparency or of opacity as it renders. I feel like that needs to be changed, so let's update that. Let's go 0.39 to 0.4. See how opaque that looks. Let me search if there's a threshold node. Jesus, there we go. So that just renders solid. Okay. So I guess 4445. Let's go into our catalog, remove that last one. Okay, so on my other screen, just searching for RenderMan, PXR threshold. I need to see if there's an equivalent of that. Threshold in Arnold. There's almost no change. Almost no change is, I guess, the key there. So I could mimic that change of thickness by multiplying this with something before I do the range. But that starts getting a bit brain melty. Just let this clean up for a moment. That's better. No. I guess another way I could achieve this feel is by having like a second layer of it over here. This is like a multi-layered drape. So again, like the thing I'm trying to replicate right now is the fact that in the concept, the lines that he drew for this fade as they get towards the neck, which obviously is just a case of him just not finishing the strokes. Like it was a block out. But in terms of achieving that in real world, we need to figure out a way to soften the shadow as it travels along. The way I was doing that in Maya is by like kind of transitioning the density of the cloth to kind of naturally fade out. Oh Jesus! Was that the chair? Oh, okay. But yeah, it's like, so the way I was doing that is with the like thickness of the cloth fibers to kind of like hide the like ruffle below. But can't do that with these textures, at least not directly. This is promising though. It's looking a bit more physically interesting than the previous versions. Definitely need to get some more texture stuff going on these ruffles now though. Let's test this out in an actual render. And then I'm probably going to end the stream. Go play some games for a bit. I've had a day off, I guess. Okay. Start a render. But yeah, I guess we'll just call the stream there. We'll see kind of how this pans out. I'm going to get this saved, closed, and archived. That's the one. Once this is done, Maya we can save. Cool. This ruffle has a very different look to it as it did in the previous renders. It wants a little bit more solid at the bottom. It's a little bit more being caught up here as well. That was the last clean render I did. I had to delete a lot of these, oh my god. When was the next one after that? These are all today, Jesus. Okay, so this is what we've done today. That's some crazy map mapping. Okay, that's a good day. I think that's a decent amount achieved for one setting. So I'll just have to let this render out for the next 2 hours, then render a grey one for the depth pass. Because this net wreaks absolute havoc on the depth pass Like, it doesn't know how to handle it at all, which is to be expected. So I'm just going to have to let this render out for a while. But yeah, so that's the end of this stream, I guess. Next stream, I imagine, will be Thursday, and then one in the weekend. But yeah, it might get moved. I might end up doing one tomorrow instead, or do one Friday if I'm not doing anything. But yeah, so enjoy the rest of the night, guys. Hope you have a good one, and see you in the next stream. Bye.